Okay, we should be live on Facebook now. So massive welcome if you're watching tonight on Facebook. We are live here with all these amazing teachers. I'm going to introduce them all in a minute, but for now, I just encourage you, if you are watching this, which apparently 2 people are, if you are watching this, just go and share it with a few friends. I'm just going to share it in a few groups now so that a few people can see it. So there we are, I've got it on my tablet. Look at that. So how do I do this? I'm just going to share it. Oh, it's the worst thing when you have to use technology live. Remember how you actually do it. So yeah, we'll get started in a couple of minutes, guys. So just hang around, and we will start in a second. I'm just going to work out how to. I'm trying to post it in the events, but I'm not quite sure how I can do that. Here we go. Post it in the support line. Fantastic. So we've got 11 people on watching us. Just give us a shout out tonight if you're watching and say hello so that we know. Who have we got on? Alicia, my wife, she's watching in the other room. Steve is also watching. Faye is watching. Amy Parker is watching. Mainly just our family. So we're doing well so far. I'm sure more people are going to be joining us. Matt Parker is watching us, who's here with us this evening. Hey. Steve says hello, everybody. So hi, Steve. And yeah, we'll kick off in a few minutes. Just encourage you guys that are there, if you do share this, if someone can share it on the event, on the Facebook event, that would be really helpful as well. So that anybody who's on the event just gets a notification, because I, for the life of me, cannot work out how to do that. So whilst we're waiting, Johnny, tell us, how has your day been? What have you been up to today?
It's been an interesting one. So last night I set all my work for the kids in my class, so I didn't have to get up too early this morning, so I had a bit of a lie-in. Got up, basically helped Faye with my new little daughter, Molly helped with the feeding. Went out for a nice walk in the fields around in Goldgate. We didn't bump into anyone, which was really great. Other than that, been watching a bit of Homeland as well.
Nice.
And then I've been responding to some of the children for sort of emails back and forth in my class, so it's been fun.
I don't know if you've noticed as well, but I've also given you all your teacher names.
I noticed that, yeah. When I posted this today, the head teacher asked for my permission to put my first name on the post on our school page. I said, go for it. The kids all know it anyway.
That's right. I didn't want to out you on social media. So I better make sure that I use the real names. So let's kick off anyway, and I'm sure more people are going to join us as we go. So why don't you guys just introduce yourselves as we go? So why don't we start with Johnny? I could even give you a high five, Johnny.
I think the screen is slightly different, haven't they?
Well, there we are. Fantastic. Johnny, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you are at school, as a teacher, obviously, not a student. And
right.
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
Right. Yeah, so I'm Johnny, married to Faye, got a daughter called Molly. She's 9 weeks old. I'm a teacher down in Preston, primary teacher, year 5. I've taught in year 4, in year 3. So big shout out to Kennington Primary School if they ever get to see this. So yeah, I've been there for about 7 years now. So yeah.
Nice.
That's me.
Matt, let's go to you next, so everyone knows who you are, or Mr. Parker. And before you guys, just to say, before Matt introduces himself, if you have questions, please do write them in as comments, and we want to try and help you as much as possible this evening. So if you've got questions about anything to do with homeschooling, how to educate your kids in this time, please do write those questions in. But Matt, Mr. Parker.
Yeah, so I'm Matt. I'm married to Amy. And we have a baby on the way. I work in Preston, same as Johnny, 10 minutes apart. We always see each other at sports competitions, but we're the better school and he knows it. So big up Alston Lane Catholic Primary School. I've been there 5 years in year 6, loving it. They're a great class. I know they've been missing me severely because I'm a great teacher. But I've missed their craziness too, but it's great just being able to communicate with them online. And yeah, we've got a great staff there. And yeah, good job.
Fantastic. Amy, let's go to you next.
Yeah, I'm Amy, married to Jono. We have a little girl, Ava, who is nearly 5 months. Can't believe how quick the time has gone. So I teach currently in year 3, but I'm currently on maternity leave, so I'm not teaching at all at the minute. But I have taught in early years reception for quite a long time before that. So I've been at my school, St Wilfrid's in Holton, for 10 years. So I've been in reception 9 years and then a year in year 3 before maternity leave. So that's me. Fantastic.
And Emma, let's go to you. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Emma. I'm a year 4 teacher in Lancaster at Dallas Road. I've got a little boy who's 3, who's very good friends with Flora. And I've taught in year 1 for quite a long time and year 2 for quite some time as well.
Fantastic. So massive thank you guys for coming on this evening and giving up your free time to come and help us on Facebook tonight to think about homeschooling. So as I've said, if you're just joining us watching now, please do write in your questions. If you've got any questions about homeschooling at all, please do just keep writing those in and we can discuss them as we go. But I just thought I'd kick off myself. I put myself, I mean, our daughter, Flora, as Emma mentioned, she is 3, so she's not in primary school, but, you know, we've been kind of trying to do more with her at home. But I imagine for lots of people, they've just been thrown very quickly into this world where they're like trying to basically hold down a job at home, working at home, which might be a new thing as well, to be out of the office environment, whilst trying to look after their children at the same time, whilst feeling the pressure to have to try to basically homeschool them and fill in the gaps in their education that they're going to be missing during this time. And that, I think, can be probably quite an overwhelming and quite stressful thing for lots of people. I would imagine that's been their experience in the last week. And so one thing that might, I guess, lots of questions that come out of that experience, but maybe if you guys could maybe just offer some reassurance to begin with, like, you know, I don't know where to start with that, but how can you help parents to kind of, I guess, feel a bit reassured? You know, are these kids going to grow up basically with massive gaps in their education because of this time period, and they'll always be playing catch up, or should they, you know, not have to worry so much?
I'll jump in. So yeah, I guess there is a lot of kind of thrown into it, and you might have helped them with a bit of homework, or maybe you've just stressed out and said, go and ask your teacher. I don't know, but I guess the key thing with this is not to feel like you have to replicate school completely and put together a full 8:45 till 3:30 curriculum and do it exactly like school. Obviously, all children in schools around the country have been set some sort of work of different degrees on different programs, maybe some paper, some online, for you to tackle as a parent with your children. Hopefully that work is fairly accessible. I know our school tried to make sure it's not anything new too much, so that it can be achieved by the children and be minimal stress for you as parents. I guess one thing to try and do is to have some sort of a timetable, some kind of a schedule for the day. Maybe it's, okay, we're going to do some work for an hour, then you can go do something else and come back later and do another hour or half an hour, even smaller bits, depending how young they are. But just giving them some sort of structure in the day, because we know children, although they pretend they don't like it, we know they do appreciate and really need a structure in their day. So just having that in place, having that agreement with your child or children as to how their day is going to look, doing some of the work, which will keep them up to date with the curriculum, but also giving them some good breaks and giving them some other things to do as well.
That's great. Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah, just to add to that, obviously it was a bit of a shock last week, saying, oh, schools are going to shut. So I think it's been a shock to us teachers as well, and we've been asked to set work for children to do at home, but that's going to be sort of a bombardment really for parents, not knowing where to start. So don't think that you've got to do everything that's sent from teachers. Certainly, the well-being of your child is so much more important than their education, and it's really important that they feel safe and loved and cared for at home. And I guess it's us as teachers, it's our responsibility to get to them, get them to where they should be when they do come back in school. Naturally, there's going to be a lot of gaps for all children who are missing out on normal schooling. So it's just, making sure they've got a regular day, like Matt said, like a routine. There's loads of things free resources out there. So a routine would be, ideal. And it's kind of up to you to decide, how that should go.
Yeah. Emma, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to say as well, don't be too hard on yourselves. I know personally, I'm trying to work from home at the minute. I'm in school a little bit as well. But even with Daniel as well, and Daniel, my little boy, needing my time. And you do have to do your own work as well. And there will be expectation on you from whatever job you're in to maintain that. And whatever you're doing will be the right thing, and sort of trust your instincts on it as well a little bit, because it isn't easy working from home and having your child there. And I think that use the guidelines that school are giving you as a guideline, and sort of the type of thing that you might be doing within a school day, which is essentially what we've sent home. But if you can't manage to do it all, don't be too hard on yourself as well, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So I've not seen, obviously, the packs that have been sent home, because our daughter's not that age and I'm not a teacher. But does that give some outlines as to kind of what that kind of daily structure might look like? Or could you describe, not that I think we want to say, obviously, this is what you have to do, because obviously the message is mainly don't be too hard on yourself. But how, like, practically speaking, what does it look like to try and create some kind of structure for our children during the day?
I can jump in there. I'm massively into sort of making sure the children are active, and I think there's been Joe Wicks has got a workout YouTube video, which I'm sure you'll have heard of, and I think that is at 9 o'clock every morning. I think it's a great start for the children to wake up and sort of shake up and get their brains ready to start learning, if that's what you want to start with. But there's loads of other things. I mean, there's Steve Backshall does a Facebook video every day at 9:30 straight after that, to do with what the wildlife and science and geography. I think there's some dance classes from that OT Maboose on Facebook. There's hundreds of authors. I know David Walliams is doing some audiobooks every day. So there's a massive range of resources out there to sort of pick and choose from. I've been setting my children sort of daily tasks to do with maths and writing. The maths, a really good website I've come across is White Rose Home Learning. And on there's video tutorials and there's questions and answers that they can go through. I thought it was really, really good for perhaps parents who struggle with supporting maths, because it's got all the sort of tips there for them to follow. Really easy to use and really colourful. I'd say that's about it, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Johnny, can you put that in the comments afterwards so that people have got a copy?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Stick that in there so people have got it. Yeah. Has anyone else got any kind of hints, tips on how to create structure?
I think somebody's just put in the comments, actually, they're saying that their child is more focused in the morning. And I think even like us as teachers, there's a reason we teach maths and English in the morning, is because generally children are more focused in the morning. So you'll know your own child, and you'll know when they're focused. So actually, if you get to the point when because even as teachers, we do that. If they're not focused, or if they're tired, they're gonna just kick up a fuss. So actually just going from them as well, thinking, well, they're focused now, so let's get some stuff done, and then we can have some downtime later on. And I think as well, especially for the younger children, kind of thinking kind of year one, EYFS, early years and things, just play is really important. I'm a big believer in actually just playing with them. The children can get so much out of that. So actually, if you get to the end of the day and you think, oh, actually, we've just built Lego for most of the day and we haven't done this maths challenge, then actually that's okay, because there's so much they will have got out of that as well, as rather than just sitting and feeling like you need to plow through what you've been given.
Yeah, that's really good. I just noticed one of the comments has come in from Joe, and this might, what you've said, Amy, probably helps answer this already, but she's saying that my kids are still in school most days, as they're both key workers, but they tried to keep them at home today, but really struggled to get them to do stuff. It's boring. So just saying, is it okay if we don't want to do too much? But I guess maybe linked to that, if you have got kids and they're just saying, we're bored and we're tired, and you're struggling to kind of engage them in any kind of education type stuff, how should you approach that? Matt?
I was just going to tag on to Amy's earlier thing, and then I'll answer a bit of that. Yeah, big shout out to Faith. She's one of our staff at school and a parent as well. So thanks, Faith, for watching. I think, yeah, the morning stuff, absolutely keep them focused. I've been in school a couple of days. I know maybe, like Emmy, you said you were, and Johnny was as well. We've kind of got them doing most of the work in the morning and the afternoon, just letting them choose what they want to do. I guess in school, we prescribe a lot of what children do, but we try to give them a bit of choice and give them options. So like in our afternoon stuff, we've tried to give children an activity that links to every subject, so geography, history, a PE task, an art task, whatever. And that's like a task for the week. And then they can just pick and choose which ones of those they want to do. And it's activities like those that are more creative, that are more led by the children. And it's like their interest, which one do I want to do? Which will hopefully, I guess, linking in with the boredom thing, engage the child in doing something, because, oh, I want to do that. That sounds fun, more than my maths and my English. You know, I can go and do that. I want to go and do that science. I want to go do that PE dance. Or I want to go and research about volcanoes or whatever it is. Yeah, I guess that would be my thing, giving children the choice, but within like parameters. And I guess, I don't know, I don't have children myself yet, but making deals, well, if you do this for this time, then you can do this for that time after. Maybe that'll work.
Fantastic. Anyone else want to jump in on that? Go for it, Emma.
I was just going to say that I think sometimes you can have this big list of what you have to do from school and your maths and your English, etc. And if your child is not in that place at that point where they're just thinking, no, I don't want to do it, or I'm too tired to do it, put it to the side, let them have some downtime, then come back to it. There's just no point in sitting there having a big argument about it, because it's just not conducive to anything, and it's not a conductive, it's not a good environment to learn in. So just sort of put it to the side, let them get on with something else, have a bit of downtime, then come back to it when everybody's a bit fresher.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Amy.
Yeah, I just say as well, I think children take in a lot more than we are aware. And actually, this is a time where it's new for us grown-ups, but it's also really new for these children as well. And they are going to be a bit confused about what's happening, and will probably be a little bit worried as well. So I think actually just allowing them some downtime is really important, because it's new for them. They don't really, might not really understand. Probably some of them understand quite a bit and are maybe just feeling a bit worried and a bit anxious. So just some downtime for them as well, for their own well-being is good as well.
That's really good. We've got a couple of questions here that we'll go to in a minute, but I just think whilst we're on that topic, a really good thing to ask is, it's probably for how do we, have you guys got any tips, basically? How do you kind of explain to the children what is actually happening at the moment without scaring them unnecessarily, but so that they can understand? I mean, some parents might have some ideas on that as well. They could message in. I guess you guys might have been doing some of that in the last week of school or whatever, but yeah, Johnny.
I mean, Newsround is a good place to look. I know it's on the news. If you watch too much news, the children are going to be worried, and I think we need to be careful that our worry doesn't, rub off onto children. Really, I think just back to the point before about getting children to sort of dictate their learning is essential. Really, I think it's a real opportunity for parents and children to spend time together and just allow the children to decide what they want to do. Do they want to bake? cook, make tea, play games, do a jigsaw perhaps. And I think that, can really sort of bond you as a family. And they'll learn it as well through that. And I think, we need to sort of make the most of this opportunity.
Yeah. News round is a great shout. I can remember watching that. Takes me back. Does anybody else want to come in on that? I feel like that's a big one.
I read somewhere that a lot of children won't remember coronavirus, but they'll remember the response of the adults around them to coronavirus. And so it's just about maintaining calm and sort of, and myself and Steve had to do it, sort of watching what we're saying in front of Daniel as well, because they do like I think Johnny was saying, they pick up on everything and they listen to everything that you're saying as well. So that was just something that struck me that I read. It's not what coronavirus is, but our response to it that they're listening to.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it's something our head teacher did very well before, and we did it kind of in class, obviously age appropriate, was getting the children to realise their responsibility in this. So when we're talking about, not going around and seeing your friends, this is not just, I guess mine are year 6, they're a bit older, but for older children, your responsibility is not to say, okay, I'm off school, I'll message my friends, I'm going to go and see all my mates at the park. Well, they need to realise that, well, that's not the best idea right now. We need to look after our health and other people's health, and how you have a responsibility at this time as well, without scaring them. Obviously, just that you need to be doing the right things. We're not doing it or putting parameters on you to restrict you in any way. We're just doing it to protect you because we love you and we want to protect our families and friends. But I guess you need to say that in the right way, for age appropriate. I guess with my year 6s, you can be quite, well, basically like that with them. And with younger children, it needs to be a bit different. And some of the younger children won't have a clue really. They'll just see it as, I'm getting to be at home or with family, and mum and dad are trying to make me do my learning. But I guess it's different for different situations. But I think, particularly year 3 and above, they will realise more what's going on and maybe the responsibility they're having that. And even just like our head teacher mentioned about, make sure you're helping around the house more. Ask mum and dad if you can help them. Be a good learner at home for them. Don't make it difficult for them at home, and just enjoy this time as a family, like Johnny was saying. Getting them to take their part as a family.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah, just on the back of that, you just reminded me, we had a conversation with the class last week, and I teach year 5, so they're quite knowledgeable as well. And we said, they're going to be part of history for years to come. And I thought a really great idea that we had was to write a diary of the day's events, and they can look back at this time and see what we got up to. And you never know, it can be part of a sort of history. Yeah, their grandchildren might be able to read, some of their notes that they've done. I thought that was a really nice idea. If perhaps your children are struggling to get their head down and do some writing, for instance, and I think, it'd be nice for them to reflect on their experiences, their thoughts, and their feelings as well.
Yeah, that's really good, and probably quite therapeutic to help them process as well what's happening. Yeah, Emma.
No, just going from what Johnny just said as well, something that I read about was with some of the older children, creating a time capsule, because we are a part of history as well. And so sort of age appropriate newspaper cuttings, a diary, sort of recording their time at home, how they're feeling, what's happening around them, etc. And then sort of burying it in their garden or in a place wherever it's okay to bury it. And then digging it up or knowing where it is to go back to in the future. But I thought that was a really nice idea for older pupils.
Yeah. I'm sure that would be something quite therapeutic about that as well, of just being able to express it in a way that's kind of creative and child friendly.
Yeah,
we'll go on to talk about mental health in a second, because I think that's a really big thing. But I'll just go to a couple of questions. My wife has asked a question that I can't even pronounce or even read. I don't know if any of you guys know what she's talking.
Grapheme.
Emma, go for it.
So she's asked what the difference is between a grapheme and a phoneme in phonics. It's the language that we use with the children quite a lot when we're teaching it. So a phoneme is the sound that the letter or the letters make, and the grapheme is the written representation of that. So for example, the O and the I make the sound oi, and the grapheme is the O and the I written together.
Brilliant. I think we should go to phonics in a minute, and maybe talk about a bit more kind of curriculum based stuff, and maybe what are the kinds of things in the next few months we want to try and cover with our kids. But just whilst we were on the kind of, just to kind of come backwards a little bit to the mental health aspect, because I think I'm kind of aware that school does an awful lot for children as opposed to just teaching them things. There's kind of social time with friends, structure that we've already talked about, and all of that stuff, the whole thing together, I guess for lots of children really helps them kind of, I suppose, hold their mental health together. And often at home they're just exposed to television and computer games, often things that might not necessarily be as helpful for their mental health. What can we do as parents to protect the mental health of our children? Not just because of the coronavirus, as we've already talked about that, but just from basically not being at school. How can we fill in the gaps to protect and safeguard their mental well-being? Someone jump in.
I think you've got to be just talk. I think talking together is really important, listening to what the children are saying to you, and everybody will be doing that anyway. And I think just even things like we're managing to eat our dinner together more, and Daniel's sitting there talking to us, and he does come out with the occasional question that we're not prepared for. But I think having that time to move away from work and our computers, etc., and just sort of listen to what they're saying and what they're asking of us is really, really important. I think mental health, you can't learn if you're not in a good place mentally. So I think it's really important to prioritize that over anything else.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, Amy.
I think as well, especially with all this good weather that we're having at the minute, if you've got a garden, then outside can really help. I noticed, like, even just for me, I didn't leave the house at all yesterday, and I got to the end of the day and was like, I've not had really any fresh air. So today I went for my one outdoor piece of exercise and went for a short walk. But I think that's really important. If you've got a garden, go out. That is really good for your mental health, just being outside. And if they're doing some English work, why can't they do it outside? Why does it have to be inside? Let's build a den and then do our work inside the den. There's lots of other things that you can do. But I think, being outside, especially with this weather, is really good. Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, Johnny.
Just to add, I think the sociable side of things is what they'll really sort of miss, especially if they're only a child at home and missing the friends from school. So we've got Purple Mash as a website that we use and buy into. I know a lot of schools do, and through that you can set up blogs and an email system, a really safe system for children to communicate with each other. I found that really helpful so far, but obviously it's down to the teachers of the children to set that up. But that might be something perhaps you could even do as parents, set up Zoom with their friends of some sort, just to give them that platform to communicate and chat. Building their own, level.
Yeah, we've done that a few times with Flora. It's been brilliant, actually. Just like, she loves it. She thinks it's hilarious. So yeah, Matt, go for it.
Yeah, I guess. So like for my year 6, we were saying, you already used communication with each other anyway. This is the time where we're actually promoting it with you, more than ever, to communicate with one another. I know the odd couple of them will do homework already with each other, but this is the time where use it. Don't go see each other, but chat with each other online, work together even on some of the projects like your science or your geography and history that are more like project based, or if you want to help each other out with maths and English stuff that you're doing as well, or even just chatting socially as well, like you would normally do, but just intensify that. And because you need to replace that, because they would go out and see each other, or they would go to each other's friends' houses for sleepovers. So even just sharing life with each other, like, I don't know, if the younger maybe sharing the teddies with each other, and or little stories, just little things like that can really make a difference. And I guess as we are finding as adults, by communicating online, you can still feel so connected, even though you don't actually see someone in person.
Yeah, Yeah, it's true. It's been a sharp learning curve for all of us, isn't it, to use Zoom
Mm.
and all this kind of technology. On the comments, Olivia says Isabel spent most of today outdoors. So much learning done, but none formal and very little indoors. It's made all the difference to her mood. And I think that's probably very accurate, isn't it, for all of us, adults and children. Like our time outside in the sunshine just does the world of good, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I think great advice. Just get outside, especially whilst the weather's good. So, but as long as you don't go to Snowdon or the Highlands or your
All
own,
it-
or your one time outside for a piece of exercise, you know, take the kids with you. Yeah. Be good to just talk about, and guys, if you've got questions, as I've said already, you might have just tuned in, so please do keep just sending in questions if you've got anything that you want to ask these guys. They're all teachers. I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing, but these guys do to some extent, far more than I'll give themselves credit for. You can trust me. So yeah, keep asking questions and sending them in. But I was just wondering, in the next kind of few months, the next few weeks, we don't know obviously how long this is going to go on for, and this is probably quite a broad question to ask and will depend upon the age and stage of the children. But what are the kind of key 3 or 4 areas that we want to try and be focusing on in particular to kind of, I guess, fill gaps or just, you know, what would they have been doing in the curriculum basically, and how do we prioritize, I suppose, what the children are going to be doing? Emma?
One thing for me that I think is vital, probably across the whole of the primary ages, is reading. So just reading daily, and if that means you reading to your child or them reading to you or just talking about a book, the amount that a child can get from reading. So going from early reading and learning to read up into year 6 when you're reading novels, but the vocab that you can get from it and the understanding about the world you can get from reading as well. And I think that's one thing that I would say to every parent: if you can, read, because it just gives so much more to everything else that the children do.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah, I find that just for myself. So yeah, anything you guys got to add? Want to jump in on that?
No, I just agree with everything Emma said there. Yeah, just give them opportunities to read, let them explore different books of their choice. There's so many books online these days that you can find. There's hundreds of websites that we'll post later on, where you can listen to books or, you know, just read stories together, bedtime stories. I think it's really important. It's the sort of the key to everything else, really.
Yeah.
I guess it's within that as well. It's making reading fun. So children, when they get older at the school, sometimes don't enjoy reading or they don't want to read. Well, I guess with that, I guess the challenge is then to find something that they will read or that they like to read, no matter what it is. Just get them reading in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's where they read. That was like Amy said earlier. You know, do it out. Go to learn outside. Go and read outside. They don't have to be sat at a desk reading or something. They can a lot like to read in bed, don't they, and things like that. So it's not putting parameters on the reading and just getting them reading something in some shape or form. And I guess depending how young they are, could be a combination of reading to them and then reading to you, or even just seeing them read on the sofa and you know they're doing it. And ask them a couple of questions after just to see if they're understanding what they're reading or if they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes and the book's upside down. But yeah, it is so important because everything that they access in the curriculum is based around being able to read things. And that's the key thing that children can get behind with in terms of their learning. But obviously it needs to be done in a way that encourages them to want to love reading and to enjoy it themselves. So whether that works in shorter stints, whether it's just get them something totally random to read that they've never read before, or just let them choose it or where they want to read, is really important, I think, to them getting to enjoy that reading.
Yeah, that's really good. Make a reading corner, I guess, that sort of thing, to make it, you know, I suppose not all of us will have this luxury, but I'd imagine even just reshuffling your house, if you can, to make a little area that becomes a zone for learning, just makes it fresh and exciting, doesn't it? For a short while, and then you have to
move it again.
That's right. Just keep on making it fresh and exciting. Yeah, that's really good. We can keep going on that, but we've got a couple of questions coming in, so let me just go to those. So Kaylee says, I've got a daughter in reception class. What should I be doing with her so she doesn't fall behind and so she's ready for year one school? And ready for year one school. I just sent her reading books home. And Olivia says, keep reading with her. Lots of games with letter, sound, number recognition. One idea, chalk numbers 1 to 20 on the ground outside, and then say simple maths question, and they have to run to the number. Great suggestion. But for Kaylee, I don't know if you guys have got anything else. I suppose lots of parents will be in a similar situation. So I think Kaylee is a bit worried with her daughter falling behind before she goes into year one, and it sounds like she's already sent her reading. Or no, I don't know what she means exactly, but
I think she means she's only been sent home with reading books, and that's it. She's got no other work.
Oh, got you. So anyway, what would you guys say to Kaylee in that sort of situation? What would be your advice? Amy?
I think what Olivia said there was really key. Just keep reading with them. So they have been sent reading books home, but I would say for a reception child, if that's all you've been sent, don't feel like you just need to plow. Let's read. Like, come on, sound me this word out, sound this word out. Try and mix it up a little bit and do some other things. So for reception children, one of the big important things is their language, as well as some of the other things. So actually playing with them, talking to them, getting them to talk back to you, having conversations, that's all really important. As well as just basic number recognition, putting their numbers in order, recognizing their numbers, writing their letters, writing simple words. There's lots of little bits that you can do alongside those reading books. So the reading is really important. Keep going with that. But play, you can do loads through play. Can we build a Lego tower that's 10 bricks tall? Can we build it 3 bricks tall? Lots of games, but just keeping the reading going, recognizing letters, writing simple words, and their numbers, recognizing numbers and shape and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah, that's really good. Emma?
And just going on from that, if you can, take it. I apologise if you did say this because it cut out for a minute, but take it outside. And so if you've got paints, getting some of your initial sounds written in paint on sheets of paper outside, or on chalks if you've got chalk outside, and just making it sort of as kind of fun as possible in what you're doing, and just finding different ways to do different things. A friend of mine showed a picture on our WhatsApp group today of making paper airplanes with her little girl who's 3, and she was showing them how to sort of fold them, and obviously with a little bit of help folding up these airplanes, but then they had to name their airplanes to see how far they went. So then they're excited because they were writing their name on their airplanes and throwing it. So it's not just sort of saying sit down, let's write our name, or let's write the letter or whatever, but giving it a bit of meaning behind it, and sort of approaching it in quite a fun way, I would say.
Yeah, that's really good.
I guess as well, I'd say, this is probably appropriate to all years, but avoid the too much device thing. It's probably easier, like, it's so hard to do all this. I'll just give them the tablet and they can do this game on the tablet, but try and stay away from that as much as possible. I know it's probably tempting for parents, but try and stay away from that as much as possible, and do the things that Emma and Amy have suggested, particularly with them as well, and to give them that time rather than just sticking them on a device with a game they could do, because the other things have so much more value than little games on a device, which I'm sure are great at some time, but it's really important to do those other things and getting them practically doing those things, getting them outside and doing those stuff that they're doing continuous provision, I guess, at school all the time in reception.
Yeah, and I think what you guys were saying at the start, I don't know if you missed that, Kaylee, but we were just saying, these guys are saying basically all the children are going to be in the same boat and in the same situation, and to just not kick yourself too hard if you're finding it really difficult and you're just worried about it, to just know it's okay to struggle, and I guess you guys will obviously be doing work with the children when they come back to school to help them catch up as well. So it's just a case, I suppose, of all of us doing as much as we can with the time and the skills that we can with the children that we've got with us. So we'll keep going. There's another question here. My son has autism and can only concentrate for about 20 minutes at a time. He doesn't have an EHCP. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure you guys will know. How can I get him to focus on his maths? How can I get him to focus? Amy and Emma.
Oh, sorry.
My first instinct would be, is it okay if he just does 20 minutes and then goes off and comes back to it? If that's all he can focus for, my instinct would be, well, maybe just do 20 minutes, give him some downtime and then come back to it, if that would be a possibility.
Yeah, Emma.
I was going to say similar as well. If 20 minutes is his maximum, don't put too much pressure on yourself. You might be seeing what's come from the school and thinking, oh, I've got to get through this, and this. But that's sort of a generic sort of summary of what the school's doing or that year group's doing. And don't feel pressured to try and get absolutely everything done. Just think about your child and think, right, okay, 20 minutes is his maximum or her maximum. And then just make sure you sort of get the best you can. But when you see that concentration faltering, come away from it, go outside in the garden if you have a garden, or just play a game, and then when you think you're ready, come back to it again. I think it's so easy to allow yourself to feel pressured, I can imagine as well. If you're not in education and you don't do it daily, I mean, it's pressure enough in education to try and get the children to learn. So just go with the child. Your child has to lead what you do, really. And if he's or she's not ready to carry on past that point, then pause and come back to it at a later time.
Yeah, that's really good. Any of you guys want to jump in? Great. I think we'll probably kind of wrap up in a minute. So if you guys have got any final questions online, please do be writing those in before we finish, so that we can kind of cover all bases before we finish. But just a final question, and I'm sure we'll put this in the comments, or maybe we'll put it into a Google document or something so that everybody can access it. But what would be for you guys? There's loads of stuff that seems to be being made available online for parents to access, and it's almost overwhelming the amount of things that there are to access. Seems to be coming across stuff all the time. So what would be your top, 2 things that you would recommend to parents to go and check out online as a resource to help them? Start with you, Johnny, and we'll go around.
Good question. I think there's BBC Super Movies out there. There's just some short sort of 3-minute clips of sort of learning and sort of staying active. So I think they're really, really good. I mentioned the White Rose home learning before. I think for maths, if you can get your child to do that, I think you're on to a winner there. It's really sort of tailored for their year group as well. I'd say those 2 things. Just keep them active as well. That's important.
Thank you, Johnny. Matt?
I guess the first one is something I meant to mention earlier, which is Audible. They've made a ton of books free to read. So get on that, basically, because as we were saying earlier, reading is so important. But there's a ton of extra books, particularly children's books, that are free, which weren't free before. So take this opportunity to get them and download them so they can be read by children, particularly if you're not being able to go out to libraries and get books and things like that, then that's a massive amount there. Another one is Espresso, which maybe some of you guys use as well, and they've just made that free, and that has loads of resources for, I guess, like video clips and things for teaching for elements of geography, history, RE, and there's a ton on there, you guys will know. So that's a place where it's kind of video tutorials, video learning, where they can give them tasks to do from it and stuff as well. So that's another place I would go for, I guess, broader curriculum stuff.
That's great. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, Amy.
So a couple of those things were also on my list. There's a website called Twinkle, which a lot of teachers use quite a lot, which they've given a free subscription to parents during this time. So on there is loads of stuff that you can print out. Some of it as well, even just for parents, if you don't quite understand something, they've got PowerPoints that you can have a look at for maths problems and all that kind of thing. So that's really good. So the subscription is free for parents at the minute. Also, YouTube has got loads of good videos on for Jolly Phonics, for younger children, times table songs, loads of different stuff like that, which is really good. And sorry, I'm going to say more than two. Sorry.
That's all right.
We said it before, but Purple Mash, if your child does have a Purple Mash log on from their school, then that is really good. Even if you just need some downtime yourself and the child needs some downtime, like, they absolutely love Purple Mash. And there's loads of stuff on there, maths games and quizzes and lots of stuff. So whatever they do on there, they're learning something, which is really good. And I saw as well, just for the younger children, Johnny said before about the Joe Wicks PE session, but Andy from Andy's Prehistoric Adventures is doing kind of a younger version, because I think the Joe Wicks one is pretty hardcore from what I've not tried it, but yeah, we have a look at that one if you've got younger children. So
that might be what we need, not for the sake of younger children, for the sake of ourselves.
Yeah.
Emma, is there anything else left? I'm sorry I made you go last.
It's okay. I was going to say Andy's wild workouts. I did one today. I went into the ocean. It was pretty good, actually. So Andy's wild workouts. BBC Bite Size, they've got some really nice videos. We with some of our year 4 children, we sent out some work to do with something called expanded noun phrases, but this is just short videos that give you a background to it, even as a parent, if you're not sure what some of the terminology is. The BBC Bite Size stuff is good for everybody involved. For phonics, there's a nice website called Phonics Play. They have some nice activities to do online as well. So if you're wanting to go through some of the phonics work that they've been given, Phonics Play is a good one. And then just a couple of other things that I've just been doing, even if you've got like a nursery age child or a preschool child, or perhaps a little bit older, but Edinburgh Zoo, they have live webcams. So Daniel's enjoyed spotting the tigers and the penguins who are sitting on their nests at the minute. And also Williamson Park, I think it's at 11 or 11:30 each day, are doing a mini zoo live and talking about different animals there. And that's quite interesting for them.
That's really cool. Yeah, Amy, you thought of something else?
No, just going to say on Phonics Play is a really good website, and they're also offering a free subscription for parents at the minute, I think, as well. So because normally you have to pay to get into of that, but I think that's free for parents as well. Yeah,
Matt, don't you love these guys who put their hands up? It's like we're still at school, isn't it? It's great.
It's weird when we put our hands up though. We're not used to that. Another phonics thing we found the other day, because we had like basically year 1 to year 6 children in these classrooms, and like 7 or 8 of them, and was Phonics Bloom. That's one I'd not heard of before, but that's got loads of great games on, and you just click on what phase your child's on. And then there's loads of games on there to help children. I think some are subscription, but there's quite a lot of free ones as well to help children with their learning, mainly cementing it, but it should increase their speed in that too.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. You've all been brilliant. I'll just read some of these final comments. Kaylee says, thank you so much. Fitz says, great tips, cheers all. My wife says, this is brilliant, thank you. So yeah, I found it helpful myself, so I'm sure lots of the parents that have been watching have found it really, really helpful as well, and lots of people have watched this on catch up too. So it's been fantastic to have you guys on with us this evening. Just a few quick things to finish with, one of which is you might have seen that as a church we're running a support line for people in Lancaster that need a bit of extra help getting shopping delivered or stuff from the pharmacy picked up. So if you know somebody in need, do point them in the direction of the Lancaster Coronavirus Support Line that we've set up. You'll find all the details for that on our Facebook page. And if you're watching and you are a teacher, that means that you have a DBS check. and you also might have some time off. And one of the things that we really need is people who have DBS checks and time to come and help as volunteers for our support line. So if that's you as well, I just encourage you, if you can, go onto our website, go to the support line page, and if you can volunteer to help us fulfill some of those needs, that would be fantastic, because we do need people. We've got requests coming in all the time of people in Lancaster that need help. Also, as a church, our phrase for the moment is hope is not cancelled, because we believe that there is still much to be hopeful about, but also because Hope Church has moved from a building to being online for our Sunday services. So we will be back on Sunday morning live on Facebook. You're welcome to join us. If you've never been to church before, if you're not a member of our church, that's fine. We had about twice the number of people with us on Sunday as we normally do, I think, just because we were online. So please feel free to come and join us on Sunday morning. We would love to have you. But thank you so much. You can put a clapping emoji for these guys if you like to, because that's the only way that we can give them a round of applause. So yeah, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. That's it for now. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.